I'm just going to give a penalty. Where he didn't even know what's going
ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Okay. Yes, guys, and welcome to another video of Football Saddos. Today we're going to be discussing VAR, which is a very, very hot topic on Twitter and all around the news. If you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe, the like button, and follow us for more content on our other socials. So without further ado, I just want to start off by asking guys, Stam, let's start with you. Do you like VAR or not?
Do I like VAR or not?
Yeah.
Personally speaking, I love the concept of it as an idea for sure, because years of football with very bad refereeing, it's the idea that English football needed. I'm not a hater of VAR. I'm more of a hater of the system and of how it's run here, because we have seen it perform much better in different leagues. So no, I wouldn't say that I hate VAR. Just hate the system of how it's run here.
Dev, how about yourself?
Oh, I love VAR. I can't lie. whenever people come up with
the Man United fan would.
Oh, enough. Dan, listen, we can have that discussion later, mate. But the thing is, with VAR, I'm in the exact same boat as Sam. To be honest, like it's done better in other sports in other countries, and we haven't done it as well here. But I'd much rather go through the crap of VAR, 1 millimeter here, 1 millimeter there, is it, isn't it, than just looking at something that's a clear error and letting it fly. So yeah, big fan.
Yeah, of course. Now, as they say, trust the process. Dan, how about yourself? I judging by your face, I think you do like VAR a lot.
What? I like. Let's get this clear. I like the idea of VAR. But our VAR is
okay.
Is my opinion. So that's a big from me. No, don't like it.
Basically, we're on the same page with it, really.
Yeah, I think we all agree that we like VAR, but it's kind of the way that it's run, the way that
the concept.
The concept. I mean, I think if you guys remember in the 2018 World Cup in Russia, it was fantastic.
It went well.
Wasn't intrusive.
It went really well. They went to the monitor. They looked at the decision. They made the decision and then came back. In the UK, it's kind of like
they one mistake.
Got one guy in one ear.
Like 5 minutes. Just
there's been a VAR decision, but for who? It's like that kind of thing. So I think we can all agree that that it just needs to be utilised better. What's the worst VAR decision so far?
I can't lie. It's a Man United one. It actually is. So I think it was against Newcastle when it might have been Newcastle or Villa. Forgive me, but when Bruno Fernandes stood on someone else, Villa, and it was a judge it was a Tyrone Mings or something. He stood on him. Awful. To be honest, I'm a fan of I'm football first before anyone else. And if there's an injustice, I'll say it. And that Bruno having gone down the way he did, the referee taking it the way it was, the VAR. I think VAR came in and gave the decision. I can't remember, but it was just it was awful. And that for me, Man United fan or not, disgusted decision. So I'm have to go with.
Clearly.
Dan, how about yourself?
I've got two very clear ones. One of them is, now this once again is a mixture of like bad refereeing in the moment and then VAR just not interfering at all, was Villa v Palace last season. Whereas 1-0 Palace, Grealish storming into the box, gets blatantly fouled. I can't remember if it was just outside the box or just in, so it could have been a penalty. Ball rolls to, I think it was like Matty Target, another Villa player. He scores what he thinks is the equaliser, but the ref's blown a whistle for a Grealish dive. It's in like the last minute, and VAR does nothing. And it was just one of the worst like refereeing decisions, and then VAR just not doing anything about it, like I've seen. And then the other one, Sheffield United away last season.
I was going to say that one.
Where I might have stolen it. Well, either way, but I think that was an offside one you're talking about. But so it was 1-0 to Sheffield United. Berger had scored. We literally go straight up the other pitch and score. What happens? Lucas Moura gets fouled by like 3 players. The ball gets kicked against his arm as he's on the floor. He's stopping himself from getting injured by putting his arms out. It gets hit against his arm, I think like here around the shirt line. Rolls to Harry Kane, who puts in the equaliser, and it gets disallowed for handball. It's one of those things where like, to a degree, I can understand, but like it just shows the fault in VAR. His common sense does not come into it.
Yeah,
he's been fouled by 3 players, and what was the most awful thing about it was it comes back to it like after the VAR and everything's finished. It is a Sheffield United free kick for handball, forgetting that he'd been fouled 3 times. And I could go on to Newcastle handball from earlier this season, but I won't.
Okay, Sam, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean. The one that I thought Dan was going to mention, it's definitely the one when we played Sheffield United and we had VAR in our favour when Sheffield thought they equalised first time around. I thought that was an incredibly harsh and ridiculous decision not to call it a goal. And that's me as a Tottenham fan saying that, even though I was happy, it didn't go our way. But like Dan said as well, with like VAR, more being down to the lack of common sense. Another one, I don't know if it's worth mentioning this because I'm not sure if you can actually blame VAR for this one, but the Brighton versus United one when a foul was committed at full time, but
it was a handball, Malpe. Yeah.
It was pretty awful, but I think one of them as well that's pretty awful that doesn't get spoken about a lot, even though Liverpool deserved to win that game, was when it should have been a penalty for City when it was a clear handball, but then it goes straight to Liverpool in play and they score a goal from that. Tottenham versus Brighton, when the referee even looked for himself when a foul was committed blatantly and obviously before a goal was scored. But the referee, again, VAR actually picked it up that there was a foul, but this was down to the ref to choose. And, no matter how clear the footage is, excuse my French, but the ref was an absolute fuckwit. And it kind of like represents referees as a whole in this league. So you can talk about as much as what is the worst VAR decisions, but you should really rephrase it as the worst decisions picked up by VAR, but referees just getting it wrong, even though it's obvious. That's pretty much how you should rephrase it as, in my opinion.
Remember when clear and obvious was meant to be a thing in terms of VAR decisions?
that went out the window.
One thing I will say before we carry on, I know I asked you guys your opinions, and in my opinion, the VAR decision that kind of lives rent-free in my head is when Harry Maguire stopped Michy Batshuayi from falling by putting his studs in his crotch. And I just thought that was like... it was nice of him to stop Batshuayi from falling, but, I think the process in which that was done. So in addition to what we just spoke about VAR, are there any specific rules about football that you would change maybe for next season? I just want to know your thoughts about that. Dev, I'll start with you.
Yeah, to be honest, if anyone comes up with the offside thing, I know there's been a lot of change, like a lot of proposals with offside, and I'm kind of want to go against that because I know Wenger says if a bit of you is onside, that means you're on, as opposed to a bit of you being off, all of you's off. I don't really agree with that because I think it gives too much of an advantage to the attacker when really they've already got one. One's running forward, one's running back. Simple as that. But one that I would change massively is the handball rule, purely because it's a subjective thing, like a clear and obvious error if they're getting involved in the state of play, if it's deliberate, all this crap, right? But this whole, shoulder length, it has to be there. Anything below that is your arm. No, you idiot. The whole bit is your friggin' arm. Like, decide which it is. If it hits there and if it's either deliberate or it's not, you have to make that clear. And I think the referees, like Sam said, have proven way too incompetent to think for themselves. We don't get consistent results. So give them a clear thing. If it hits, deliberate or not, that's the rule. If it hits and you think it's deliberate, that's the rule. Choose one. Don't do this one. So I'd say pick a genuine hardline rule that they can do, because right now it's not working.
It's almost as if football's becoming too politically correct, if that makes sense. Kind of like
correct.
As in, kind of like there are five. Okay, maybe kind of. I wouldn't. Phrase. I'll try to rephrase.
No, we can keep that.
Become very scientific. I think.
It's fine margins.
I wouldn't say it's politically correct. I'd say that it's just more completely going over the top and ruining the game, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not going to even waste any more time speaking on that because Dev has worded it perfectly. So I'm just also going to say, to answer your question, what Dev said, change the handball rule. I mean, I'd also change the offside rule, but yeah, let's move on.
Well, I was just going to say quickly on that, Handball rule, I agree. I just think they need to have a level of common sense. You just need to be able to apply common sense to it. Has the person who's committed the handball gained any advantage whatsoever? Was it intentional? Just use your common sense, because so many of these issues, if you just think about it for 1 second, you can tell if it's handball or not. And on the offside one, I think a very simple fix is kind of a mixture of, use the flags. Don't do this belated flag nonsense where the play will go out for 30 seconds and then you raise the flag. Use the flagsman. If it's offside, then leave it as that. However, if it goes to VAR, linesman, whatever, if it goes to VAR, just go with clear and obvious. Apply clear and obvious to offsides. Level doesn't exist anymore. If they look level by an eye test, they're level. Just leave it as that.
Right, so what I've decided to do now is I'm going to send you two VAR instances that have not happened in the Premier League. So it's anywhere around the world. And what I want you to do is literally do a blind reaction. So
I hope it's going to boil my blood. I really.
Well.
What?
What? Yeah, that's just a referee making a decision from VAR.
Is there anything controversial about it? Well, the controversial
I don't know what he's reacting to.
Sure.
I don't know what.
So the controversial thing that was from that video is that this VAR decision was made in Bolivia, and at that time, Bolivia didn't have VAR.
No, I've had like no hours of sleep. Can someone just explain to me, because I'm just
That's fucking joke.
The instant reaction is, he's making a VAR decision. And I just said, it's in Bolivia where there's no VAR.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm supposed to laugh at that, all right?
That'd be like if it was Sunday League and like he just goes and looks at an iPad on the side and he's like,
"Oh, that's brilliant."
They reviewed a decision. No, they did. He didn't even review it. He did the VAR hand sign when there is no VAR in the Bolivian Premier League or whatever they have over there in Bolivia.
Wait, so what happened? Do we know what happened after he?
They gave the penalty. He gave the penalty.
That's kind of like that. Do you remember that? It was the right decision, but do you remember that Tottenham-Liverpool game where John Moss is talking to the linesman for like a couple minutes?
Yeah,
Do you know if he was offside? I don't know. And he's like, I'm just going to give a penalty. Where he didn't even know what's going
ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Okay. Now I'm going to send the next one. So this is a match by Mainz against Freiburg. Okay, so Mainz appeal for a penalty. There's a handball. And then later, after this, the referee calls for half-time. The fourth official tells the referee that there is an instance for a penalty check to be made after he has called for half-time. So the referee goes to the VAR monitor, checks for the penalty, tells the players to come back out of the tunnel, take the penalty in the context of the first half, and then go back into.
And then Bruno Fernandes turns up and takes the penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty. It is. The referee had already gone half time.
Who cares about that? I disagree. You see, and I know it doesn't happen often. And yeah, you can say I'm a Man United fan and it happened in our favour, but we're top of the league by more, by 3 points and 6 points ahead of Liverpool. We could have drawn that game if we needed to. But what I don't get about that is it's clear we see that image, but it's clear that it's a penalty.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have gone in for half time then. Just like the game shouldn't be stopped.
There's a reason why there's a beginning and end of a game.
That's worse than the Brighton one because the players had gone back in.
That's taking the piss.
What if one was having a shower? I know it's half time. One could have been like taking a dump and then, mate.
Honestly, I think they're well within their rights to come back and take the pen.
Okay,
it's a clear pen, and it should have happened. So fair.
So the referee whistles for offside. Okay, for a decision that wasn't even offside. And they go to
Chinese Super League or something.
Yeah, or the Chinese Super League version of Stockley Park. And he's using a piece of paper to measure the offside line. Talk about low budget.
Jesus Christ, I thought we were wow, a piece of paper.
We talk about, oh my God. We talk about, I remember I think it was on one of Sam's.
Remember at school you get that lined paper? Not even the lined paper, just plain A4 paper.
Man's using tracing paper to try and trace back on a decision. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that one.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
That's amazing.
What
is the paper test?
What if the paper's bent? What if he holds it at
Imagine the referee's gone to the screen. Imagine if it was in the Premier League. He's gone to the screen. He's like, gets out one of his yellow cards and starts. All right, let's.
They literally put the laughing stock in Stockley Park. Literally.
Why don't they just go on Microsoft Paint and just like install the line?
Anyway,
if you don't have the technology for it, then fair enough. But there's better ways to make yourself not look like an absolute mug if you're using paper.
Those are the ones. You've done well.
Get it. We're not the only ones who are idiots when it comes to VAR.
So, what do you guys think about VAR? Do you think it should stay in the Premier League, or do you think it needs to be scrapped away? You know, like
sack the refs.
Make football great again, as they say.
Sack all the refs.
So,
get new refs in.
Yeah, so this has been Football Saddos. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit thumbs up if you like the video. Hit subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we will see you soon. Stay home, stay safe, and most importantly, stay onside.